All right, welcome. Thank you for listening to this hybrid learning model screencast. We wanted to give you an overview of the model and then also explain the intentional planning that all teachers are doing to ensure the success of this model for all students. So this screen shows exactly what, at a glance, what a week will look like for different cohorts of students. On Monday, all students will participate virtually in an advisory that lasts 25 minutes at the beginning of the day to really ensure connectedness and a sense of belonging. And then the rest of the day, students will check in via WebEx into all of their classes. Tuesday through Friday, different cohorts of students will be participating face-to-face, starting the day with an advisory to again build that connectedness, and then following the schedule that appears on the screen. All teachers are really thinking together in their professional learning communities and also as individuals about how to really intentionally plan for this hybrid learning model so that all students feel success and are successful. So the two big things that we are thinking about is what are we doing as instructors, as educators, to really create an environment where students are learning to drive their own experience and then move towards independence. And what do we as teachers have to explicitly teach to ensure that that happens? A second big goal is how are we intentionally designing units with the end in mind in order to choose really engaging and also grade level materials and experiences for our students. So I want to kind of pull back the veil a little bit and show the type of planning that happens in order for that to be successful. Because this isn't just like a nice thing to have. This is actually a powerful way to instruct where we're trying to move towards consultation for all students and really moving towards FAR transfer, where students are able to take the skills that we are teaching them and then apply it to different contents and outside of the classroom as well. And we're always moving towards more complex skills or more nuanced complex skills. And this is because this is how our brain works. We start with that sensory input, but then we really as our brains want us to move towards really playing around with skills, making mistakes, trying it out. That's the consolidation of knowledge. And then ultimately moving to consultation, where we are really doing something physical with that knowledge, transferring it to another setting or teaching other people about that knowledge. So as teachers, this is what we're doing. We are doing some sort of planning in our professional learning communities, job-alike teams, and we are starting with the content standards and really looking at that first. So this is what a completed document might look like. This is an example from anyone, any classroom who is teaching argumentative writing or argumentative speaking. So this is the Common Core state standard. And then what we do is we deconstruct that standard by looking at the nouns and then the verbs that are inside of that standard. What's really interesting is when we work with our professional learning communities, we really look at the sub-skills that are underneath a verb, like introduce, or distinguish claims. Like, what does that really mean? Well, this is kind of what it means. So we need to look at those sub-skills and then to create lessons that highlight that for students and make it really clear for all students. The next part of the process is doing something like this, where we think about the learning goals for all students, what we want them to do throughout the unit, and at the end of the unit to demonstrate that they have successfully learned those skills. The next part is checking for understanding. What does that look like for formative and summative assessments? And what is our plan for feedback, both virtually and in person? And then what's the flow of concepts and skills in face-to-face and virtual? From here, what we do is we look at that plan, and then we also look at this plan. And let me put it side by side so you can kind of see what this looks like from a teacher's perspective. And teachers aren't going to necessarily follow this exact guideline, but some sort of similar thought is what happens with all teachers. So they're going to look at, okay, these are this is the instruction I have to do for all my students to be successful when it comes to face-to-face and virtual. And then what they're going to do is take this information and copy it over to the unit plan of where it would make sense in the flow of maybe a 2 to maybe it's a 6-week unit. So an interactive read aloud for argumentative speaking and writing, that might make a lot of sense and be really powerful and engaging to do that on that virtual Monday. So that's what I pasted here. Then I'm thinking to myself, all right, I want to do conferring throughout the week with students face to face. I'm going to check their understanding. And I am also going to think about what the students are going to be doing virtually. So to make that impactful, I have over here on my planning document that I want them to view debates. I want them to respond to questions about the effectiveness of those speaker arguments. So that's what I'm going to paste in the virtual part for the cohort 2 and cohort 1 for this part of the week. And then I'm going to have them view debates and also respond to questions here later on in the week. For virtually, as a teacher, what I'm really thinking about is what am I going to do virtually to really build up the students' background knowledge so when they see me face to face, they have some schema to work from. And another thing I'm thinking about is what can the students do virtually after they see me face to face to really extend their thinking, to transfer that knowledge, and to build independence. So thank you so much for watching this and kind of seeing behind the scenes the kind of planning that is happening with our teams of teachers. We appreciate everything you're doing, and thank you so much.